What's up, guys? We're mid-month already, getting there, and sometimes we start losing focus. I do, doing things consistently is tough, and I can only imagine if you're studying out there for schoolwork, doing a bunch of work, doing extra stuff at work. 2 weeks is really tough. It can be draining, and so I just want to you know, hopefully we can refocus and staying on top of the things that we are set out to do. Okay, so this is where uh, we will try to keep guys motivated, continue to push guys to be uh, continue on the path. They're almost there, and brain's probably already fried. I know mine is, and I just wanted to come on here and there's nothing motivational. It's just a reality check, no fluff, none of that nonsense. Where just continue to execute, right? So knocking this certificate out, allows you to free up your mind because if you can just compress it into this one, this phase of studying for 2 weeks, then you can let it off your shoulders, get your A&P, knock that out, and it's just a huge weight off your shoulders. Okay, and the thing is that what sucks is that time doesn't care. If you're ready, you just gotta keep going, keep continuing to executing, and the momentum starts building up once you start making all the passes and continue to just knock this stuff out of the park. So you got to think about, your separation date. What do you got to do, right? You don't want this lingering of needing to get your A&P. You want to have it ready 6 months out, 3 months out is a good rule of thumb to start looking for jobs. Seeing who's out there. So there's no such thing as the perfect timing. The earlier you knock this out, the better, and keep that momentum going. It's that the inaction is still not doing anything, right? So that's still an action. And yeah, of course, it might feel safe that you're not doing anything. And I fall into this too, where uh, you just need to get a rest a day or a night rest. And it's like, oh man, I've been jamming out with this A&P stuff, and but let's keep going. Let's keep going, right? Minimize the distractions, keep those distractions off, and continue to keep pressing, right? Because it can also be an expensive option if you leave without the military, uh, without leaving the military without just A&P, right? So inaction can be expensive. So when you let's say you knock this out before 6 months in, right? Now you can focus on resumes, you can focus on your out processing, and you got your benefits out of the way. So you can go with the path where you're gonna have those same questions, down the road, right? Whatever you got going on, yeah, you got work, got it. I understand. But you gotta chisel out some of that time for 2 weeks to just knock this out, right? Because you're gonna have the same confusion, you're gonna have the same stress, and then your options. You're gonna be jumping on something pretty quick, right? So you don't want to be there. You want to be ready, locked and loaded to jump onto a job that you want, because uh, having the options of which path you want to take at your career, your military career, it makes it super easy. So you have to create the change, right? And those decisions make that happen. I've seen it before where guys would wait and actually or prioritize. This is the messed up part. This is where you get stuck is that you have the wrong priorities. And it's weird, I know, but there's guys I've seen that prioritize their retirement party over their A&P. So that takes over the planning and all that jazz. If you have somebody doing it for you, great. That'd probably be a better option so you can knock out the A&P and your retirement party. So this is where we need to set your priorities, right? So if you continue your career, your path in aviation, knock out that A&P as soon as possible. If you haven't started yet, get on it, because in civilian life, unlike, it's similar. There's things that you need to have in your military career, right? You gotta have that 7 level to sign off X's, the important ones. Just like on the civilian side, to sign off X's or to sign off jobs in the FAA, it's going to require an A&P, and employers are looking for that, right? So let's not confuse waiting or feeling it was the right time with being responsible. If you don't have the structure, then the momentum disappears. So it's not that you're lazy. Maybe you're just prioritizing other things that is holding you back, and that's where a lot of the guys get stuck. So let's not keep putting it off. Like, once I start, I'll have more time, or once this class gets done, I can start. No, let's knock this out. I was literally having a lunch with a friend, and he's been putting it off for 14 years, and those years he's had his tickets for a very long time, and he's helped everybody else out except for him. And it was a great example of time goes by so fast, and by the time you know it, you're at the retirement party and you haven't done your A&P. So let's not decide after separation. Let's knock this out beforehand, okay? Or figure it out eventually. No. Take control, create the change you need in your life, right? Because eventually, it's not going to be your pain. It's not going to be your stress no more. And you can continue other things in your life that's going to be stressful, and you can focus on that, right? And not have this weight on your shoulders, okay? So what does the action finally mean, right? Action is not equal to quitting. Action is not equal to having it all figured out, right? You just gotta carve it. Hey, prioritize the study for 2-3 weeks, carve it out, and dedicate to it. You got a bunch of resources available to you to knock that out. So this is just going to be a process that, if you join an A&P school, hopefully they have the structure, and we most certainly have it here, where talking to the right people, having the structure, having the questions in front of you, the guiding you through each step correctly, because it's a sequence, right? You can't do your orals and practicals before your writtens, so you gotta make sure you knock that out. So with clarity comes after action, right? Not before. So now you have the structure, just follow the path, right? There's that old saying that you can't see, if you're driving from New York to LA in the dark, you can't see all of LA from New York, right? But you got the map, you got a GPS, car's running good, and it's dark. You're just looking what's in front of you, right? So if you have your GPS, you have that structure, you'll eventually get to your endpoint, your destination. So let's not look behind. Let's not worry about if you can do it or not. You have the skills, and you've gone through military training, and you knock those things out, because you would not be where you're at if you didn't study for exams or not receive that promotion. So here, it's structured, and we guide you through the sequence to be successful in your AMP. So I know this is pretty quick, but we need to hear that sometimes. Even though that you're successful already, you're already on a great path, and sometimes you get exhausted. Sometimes you're going to uh, be wondering, did you make the right decision? I get that question sometimes, and in the middle of this, guys studying because it's a lot, but it'll be worth it at the end. And the guys, you can see the relief when they get their AMP from that guy, the excitement they get. So I want you to feel that as well. And there's going to be a little bit of sacrifice up front to obtain that AMP. So if you're interested in starting your journey in the AMP, let's knock this out. There's tons of resources. My resources, all of it is for free, and you can do it in your own pace. And I'm here to help you out and guide you through. So if you know a buddy, like that was my lunch with a friend. He brought his buddy that was trying to figure it out, and just a couple of things, a couple of steps, just to get his authorization. And he's been given the runaround, or just having them wait. And so gave him clear directions, simple directions to just do this. So it shouldn't be scared. Just action. You don't have to be perfect, but you do got to progress. So we're not looking for perfection. The scores, the employers don't care about your employers don't care about your scores. There's no valedictorians. It's just getting that AMP, and that's all they care about. So if you have a buddy, or you yourself wants to get started on your AMP, we have a structure from A to Z. Go ahead and scan this QR code, and let's knock this out, guys. That's it for today. Let's have a strong start to 2026. Pulling shots, guys.